Can't get Luka. Just wide open play and we're done. Harden had it. There goes to Reeves. Oh, look out! Look out, LeBron! Throw that baby down.
What a night for LeBron and the Lakers. Now the all-time record holder in games played, minutes played, points scored, and shots made. Yesterday, he added another past Kareem to become the winningest player in NBA history, 1,229 wins and counting, including the postseason. Iman Shumpert joining us again with Vinny. And Iman, Luka and LeBron, when they're at their best, this team is really, really good. You throw Austin Reeves in there, they're even better. So do those two, does it need to be Luka, LeBron, and then everyone else for this team to end the season on a run and carry that into the playoffs?
Well, toward the end of the game, yes, Luka and LeBron. Throughout the game, though, Luka, AR, LeBron. Then you have the other guys that have to show up to play. I think AD's been doing, not AD, but I'm thinking that DeAndre Ayton is doing a much better job. They're bringing the energy through a team defense, going for deflections, making sure they make things easier on the offensive end of the floor. And then when they have those half-court sets, they're making sure everything goes through Luka Doncic, and you see the success rate they've had.
Yeah, and Vinny, I think we've done that, right? We've moved on from this being LeBron's team, even to the point where if there's a final shot needed in a game, it's going to Luka. Have we reached that point in L.A.?
Yeah, we've long reached past that point. I think Luka Doncic is the MVP candidate. He's the headliner. LeBron has gone into a supplemental role, and I think that's the best possible position when you want to conserve his energy, conserve his body, and also play him against lesser defenders. You don't want LeBron going against your number one or even number two defenders, and Luka Doncic has gotten comfortable in being the number one guy for LA. Remember, he's taken a team to the NBA Finals. We're not talking about Luka and his health and Luka being overweight and everything else. He looks like a guy that can possibly steal you a series. I'm just not sure he can steal you two series.
Yeah, and now it gets to the point, we just talked about this remarkable run they've been on in this stretch. They certainly got momentum at the right time, but we're going to learn a lot about them. They've got the Thunder in 2 of the next 3 games when you look at their schedule. And then you've got the Luka back in Dallas. I know not as much of a story as it was, but still he's going back to a place that unthinkably traded him. So, Iman, when you look at this next 3 games, we're going to learn a lot about the Lakers. What do you think we'll learn in those?
I'm interested just to see what DA does. I think that a lot of the Lakers' success is going to ride on his shoulders when these playoffs come. And I think this is a very good preview. What better test do you get than to the matchup with the Thunder twice, once on the road and once at home? That's definitely a great barometer of how this could go in the playoffs, because the Thunder are a team that plays well on the defensive end. They're going to show you that matchup with first, second, and third defenders. They're going to throw a lot of different schemes at you because they'll be trying stuff for playoffs as they continue to stay at that number 1 spot. So I think it'll be a good barometer for the Lakers to see what they have and what else these guys have in the tank. I think LeBron understands to show a little bit more of a playoff look as he plays these guys the next couple of times.
Yeah, and I'd say this. We've been talking about it now for the last month. The Lakers look good. We're about to find out how good next week with 2 meetings against the Thunder going in. Let's move on to the Knicks now, whose struggles continued last night on the road against the Rockets. They were down double digits most of the game. Couldn't stop Kevin Durant. Finished with a tidy 27 points. The 111-94 loss was New York's 3rd straight as they remain 1 game up on the Cavs for the 3 seed in the East. And here was Josh Hart post-game on the Knicks' recent poor play.
We're not going in the right direction. We're not trending upwards. So we got to figure it out. It was 3 tough ones. We got another one tomorrow. That's a must-win for us.
And after winning 7 straight games out of nowhere, the Knicks have hit the skids, losing 3 straight games, all by double digits. Just the second time this season the Knicks have lost 3 straight games by 10 points. They hadn't lost 3 straight by double digits in the previous 2 seasons. So, Vinny, we're getting down to the point now where the Knicks, they make the coaching change in the offseason. They looked really, really good throughout the season. And now they've gotten to the point where you just don't know which team is going to show up. From what you see, what is wrong with them right now?
I think the problem is us. Maybe we've given them too high of an expectation to make the NBA Finals. When you look at the mandate that Mike Brown was brought in to do, right? Make the team deeper, lessen the dependency on the starters. He's done that. Josh Hart isn't playing as many minutes. Karl Towns isn't playing as many minutes. Diversify the offense. They're a top 5 offensive team, a top 10 defensive team. Like, they are reaching certain benchmarks that are the hallmark of championship teams. But when you watch them play, and when you watch them play against good teams, they're 4-8 against the top 5 teams in the league. That's not a great sign going into the playoffs. And the regular season at some point, guys, has to matter. When you're this level of inconsistent against really good teams, and one of your leaders, Josh Hart, is saying that a game in Memphis is a must win, that lets you know that the vibes aren't great inside that locker room. I know that things can turn on a trifle. The Knicks can go right back to where they were last year in the playoffs as far as surprising everybody. But I don't think you can expect Lightning to strike 2 times in a row. They didn't make significant personnel changes. There's still a lot of questions about Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson as a tandem. And just fundamentally, you're not sure if they have the personnel to compete with Detroit and Boston, who they may see in round 2.
So, Iman, having said that, how do they get out of this funk?
I think the way you get out of this funk is, one, you continue to hang your hat on, though these are just numbers, you want to continue to do these numbers because these are all great things. I think that the Knicks have shown a lot of good things throughout the season. It's just what Vinny's talking about, that level of consistency that we want to say at the end of at the end of a game during a big series, we know what's going to happen. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen. At least last year, we knew, hey, Jalen Brunson's going to pound it. He's going to dribble it all game, but he's going to keep that game close, and they're going to have a shot at the end. Now we're starting to look at it and say, man, do we want it to go back to that where he's controlling everything and you're pulling so much out of somebody that is not one of these guards that are one of the bigger guards in the NBA. And I think that seeing Houston match up with them last night, you saw that size bothered them. And when you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, there is size. There is stuff that's going to come in there and bother a Jalen Brunson. So I don't want the length to start bothering them. I want them to keep their foot on the gas. But I think that Karl-Anthony Towns and their bench should provide them a little bit more help.
Benny.
I think it's important to note that Karl-Anthony Towns' numbers have looked better since the All-Star break. But he does not look comfortable inside that Knicks offense. And that's on him, and that's on Mike Brown to figure out ways that he can be a primary option. Because even though the numbers say he's playing more efficiently, it doesn't look like he's comfortable in getting the ball in spots, as sometimes he looks disconnected. I'm very, very curious and fascinated what the Knicks will do. Or maybe 75 games is the evidence that this isn't working. Either way, Karl Towns is going to be the key to everything that the Knicks are going to do in the postseason.
Especially with the pressure now that's going to be on Mike Brown when he was brought in to replace a coach that took him to a place they hadn't been in 20 years, which is the Eastern Conference Finals. Now that pressure, that's going to mount.